When a man gives you a hug, one of the most profound messages embedded in that simple gesture is an acknowledgement of your value. It's a moment that transcends words, a quiet yet powerful affirmation that says, I see you and I recognize your worth. To understand this deeper, we must first explore what it truly means to value someone. In a world often driven by surface-level interactions, where people are frequently overlooked, dismissed, or taken for granted, the act of acknowledging another's value is a rare and meaningful gift. Acknowledging someone's value means recognizing them for who they are, not just for what they do or what they bring to the table. It's about seeing the essence of their humanity, their struggles, their victories, their potential, and their inherent dignity. A hug is a physical manifestation of that acknowledgement. It bridges the gap between two individuals, creating a moment of shared humanity that transcends societal expectations, roles, or hierarchies. I wilt that says, you are important just as you are. In a society where many people often feel unseen or undervalued, receiving that acknowledgement can be profoundly impactful. Consider how often people move through life feeling like just another face in the crowd, lost amidst the noise and hustle of daily routines. In such a context, a hug can feel like a lifeline, a brief pause that interrupts the monotony and reminds you of your inherent significance. End quote. It's a way of saying you're not just a bystander in this life, you are an integral part of the story. When a man offers that hug, he's taking the time to step outside of himself, even momentarily, to recognize and affirm someone else's value. This act requires a level of intentionality and presence. In that embrace, he's setting aside distractions, judgments, or preconceived notions. Instead, he's focusing on you, acknowledging that your existence matters and that your presence has an impact. This acknowledgement can feel even more profound because it often comes without strings attached. It's not about what you've achieved or how you've impressed him. It's about who you are in that moment. Moreover, the act of a hug can communicate things that words struggle to convey. Language is powerful, but it can also be limiting. A hug, however, transcends those limitations. It bypasses the need for explanation or justification and goes straight to the heart. It's a universal gesture that says, you're seen, you're valued, you're enough. Whether it's a brief hug of reassurance, a warm embrace of comfort, or a lingering moment of connection, the underlying message remains the same. You are important. This acknowledgement of value is not just about recognizing someone else's worth. It's also a reflection of the one offering it. When a man gives a hug, he's making a choice to express empathy, compassion, and care. He's demonstrating that he has the capacity to see beyond himself and connect with another person on a meaningful level. This is an act of generosity, as it requires vulnerability and openness. By offering that hug, he's saying, I see you, and I'm willing to share a part of myself with you in this moment. The power of acknowledging someone's value through a hug extends beyond the individual receiving it. It creates ripples of connection and understanding that can affect relationships, communities, and even society as a whole. When people feel valued, they're more likely to reciprocate that acknowledgement, creating a cycle of kindness and respect. A simple hug can be the starting point for fostering deeper connections and a greater sense of belonging. It's also worth noting that this acknowledgement doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate declarations. The beauty of a hug lies in its simplicity. It doesn't need to be explained or analyzed. It's a raw, authentic expression of care and appreciation. This simplicity makes it accessible to everyone, regardless of culture, background, or circumstances. It's a universal language of connection that reminds us of our shared humanity. On a deeper level, being acknowledged through a hug can remind us of our own intrinsic value. In a world that often measures worth by external standards, success, wealth, appearance, a hug can bring us back to what truly matters. It reminds us that our value isn't tied to what we do, but to who we are. This realization can be incredibly freeing, allowing us to embrace ourselves and others with greater compassion and authenticity. In a time when so many feel isolated or disconnected, a hug serves as a powerful antidote. It's a way of breaking down barriers, both literal and figurative, and bridging the gaps that divide us. It's a moment of unity that affirms our shared humanity and reminds us of the importance of being present for one another. It's a gesture that says, "You matter to me, and I want you to know it." Ultimately, when a man gives you a hug, the acknowledgement of your value is not just a fleeting moment. It's a profound reminder of the connections that define us as human beings. It's a way of saying, "I see you for who you are, and I honor your place in this world." That acknowledgement has the power to heal wounds, strengthen bonds, and remind us all of the beauty and significance of simply being seen. When a man gives you a hug, he's choosing vulnerability. This choice is far from insignificant. It's a deliberate act that carries layers of meaning, courage, and openness. Vulnerability is not something that comes naturally or easily for many men, shaped as they often are by societal expectations to remain stoic, composed, and guarded. Yet in that moment of physical connection, a man is letting down his defenses, even if just for a moment, to create a genuine human connection. That choice reflects a willingness to step into a space of authenticity that requires trust and courage. To choose vulnerability is to take a risk. For men, this risk can feel particularly significant because it goes against the grain of societal norms that often discourage emotional expression. From a young age, boys are often taught to equate vulnerability with weakness. They're told to man up, be tough, or never let them see you cry. These messages build walls, encouraging men to suppress their feelings and mask their emotions behind a facade of strength. But when a man hugs you, he's stepping outside of that conditioning. He's saying, even if unconsciously, that he's willing to lower those walls for the sake of connection. A hug is an intimate gesture. It involves proximity, touch, and an openness that can make even the most self-assured person feel exposed. For a man who has been taught to prioritize independence and self-reliance, allowing that closeness can feel like stepping into unfamiliar territory. Yet it's precisely this act of stepping outside his comfort zone that makes the gesture so meaningful. By choosing to be vulnerable in this way, he's showing a depth of courage that is often overlooked. Vulnerability is not about weakness, it's about having the strength to embrace authenticity. In that hug, there's a silent acknowledgement of shared humanity. Vulnerability is the bridge that connects people, and a hug is a tangible expression of that bridge. By choosing vulnerability, a man is saying, "I'm here, I care, and I'm not afraid to show it." That's a powerful message, one that can transcend words and reach straight to the heart. It's a reminder that we are all human, all carrying our own burdens, joys, and struggles. In that moment, the hug becomes a space where those emotions are allowed to exist without judgment. Choosing vulnerability also reflects a willingness to engage emotionally. It's not just about physical closeness, it's about opening up to the possibility of connection. For many men, this can be challenging. To hug someone is to express something that might be difficult to articulate. It's a way of saying, I care, I'm here for you, or you matter to me, without the need for words. This emotional openness requires trust, not just in the person being hugged, but in oneself. It requires believing that it's okay to feel, to connect, and to show care. There's also a sense of shared risk in a hug. When a man chooses vulnerability by offering that gesture, he's opening himself up to the possibility of rejection or misunderstanding. He's taking a leap of faith that his vulnerability will be met with acceptance. This act of trust is profound because it demonstrates a belief in the goodness of human connection. It's a reminder that despite the risks, the rewards of genuine connection are worth it. Vulnerability is a two-way street, and a hug creates an opportunity for mutual openness. When a man chooses to be vulnerable, it can inspire others to do the same. It's a reminder that we don't have to carry our burdens alone, that it's okay to lean on one another. This mutual vulnerability can strengthen relationships, deepen bonds, and foster a sense of community that is often lacking in today's fast-paced, disconnected world. Furthermore, choosing vulnerability through a hug can be an act of healing. It can be a way to mend relationships, offer forgiveness, or express emotions that have been bottled up. For a man who may struggle with articulating his feelings, a hug becomes a powerful tool for communication. It's a way of saying what words cannot, of expressing emotions that might otherwise remain hidden. In this sense, the vulnerability of a hug is not just an act of courage, it's an act of love. Ultimately, when a man gives you a hug, his choice to be vulnerable is a gift. It's a moment of honesty, courage, and humanity that invites connection and understanding. It's a way of saying, I'm willing to be real with you, to show you a part of myself that I don't always share. That choice, simple as it may seem, is a profound reminder of the power of vulnerability and its ability to bring people closer together. In that embrace, there's a world of meaning, courage, and connection, a testament to the strength it takes to be truly open. When a man gives you a hug, it's often a silent act of offering comfort or seeking it. This unspoken exchange of warmth, connection, and understanding is profoundly human, transcending language and societal barriers. In a world where emotions are often suppressed or overlooked, a hug becomes a way to bridge the gap between what is felt and what can be expressed. Whether he is offering comfort or seeking it, the act is imbued with meaning, vulnerability, and a desire for connection that speaks to the core of our shared humanity. To offer comfort is to acknowledge someone else's pain, struggle, or emotional weight. When a man hugs you, he's saying, I see what you're going through and I want to ease it. This act doesn't require a detailed understanding of the situation. It doesn't demand explanations or elaborate discussions. Instead, it's a simple, powerful gesture that says, I'm here for you. The physical closeness of a hug can convey empathy and care more effectively than words ever could. In that moment, the hug becomes a safe space, a sanctuary where burdens feel lighter and emotions are allowed to flow freely. Offering comfort through a hug is an act of selflessness. It's a willingness to share in someone else's pain, even if only briefly, and to carry a part of their emotional load. For many men, this can be particularly significant because it challenges the notion that they must always appear strong and detached. By extending a hug, he's showing a side of himself that is compassionate, empathetic, and willing to connect on a deeper level. One can also try to understand, even when the other person chooses to keep silence. This willingness to step outside the confines of societal expectations and offer comfort is an act of genuine care. At the same time, a hug can also be a way of seeking comfort. Life is filled with challenges, disappointments, and moments of vulnerability that can leave anyone feeling isolated or overwhelmed. For men, who are often conditioned to suppress their emotions and avoid seeking help, a hug can become a rare moment of openness. In seeking comfort through a hug, he's acknowledging his own humanity and allowing himself to be vulnerable. This act of reaching out is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to the strength it takes to admit, "I need support." A hug is unique in its ability to provide comfort without demanding anything in return. It's not about solving problems or finding solutions. It's simply about being present. When a man hugs you to seek comfort, he's not necessarily looking for answers. Instead, he's seeking connection, a reminder that he's not alone in whatever he's facing. The warmth of an embrace can provide reassurance, grounding him in the knowledge that someone cares and is willing to share in his journey, even if only for a moment. In both offering and seeking comfort, a hug serves as a reminder of our shared humanity. It's an acknowledgement that everyone, regardless of strength or stature, experiences moments of vulnerability. This mutual understanding creates a bond that goes beyond words. When a man gives a hug, it's a silent agreement to be present in each other's lives, to share in the joys and the struggles, and to offer or accept support without judgment or hesitation. The act of hugging can also be profoundly healing. Emotional wounds, though invisible, can be just as painful as physical ones, and a hug has the power to soothe those hurts. For someone offering comfort, the embrace can be a way of saying, "You don't have to carry this alone." For someone seeking comfort, it's a way of finding solace in another's presence. A reminder that, even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found in connection. This exchange of comfort, whether offered or sought, is not bound by the specifics of a relationship. It can occur between friends, family members, romantic partners, or even strangers. What matters is the intention behind the hug, the unspoken message of care and understanding. In that moment, the barriers that often divide people, pride, fear, misunderstanding, are set aside, and what remains is a pure human connection. Hugging as a form of comfort is also deeply rooted in our biology. The physical act triggers the release of oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone. This chemical response fosters feelings of trust, safety, and well-being, reinforcing the emotional connection being shared. When a man offers or seeks comfort through a hug, he's not just engaging in an emotional act, but also creating a physiological response that strengthens the bond between him and the person he's embracing. The beauty of a hug lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require elaborate words or actions. It's a gesture that speaks volumes without making a sound. Whether he's offering comfort to someone in need or seeking solace for himself, the act of hugging creates a moment of connection that can be both grounding and uplifting. It's a reminder that, despite the challenges and complexities of life, we are never truly alone. When a man gives you a hug, offering or seeking comfort, he's stepping into a space of mutual understanding and care. It's an act of courage, compassion, and authenticity that cuts through the noise of daily life and affirms the importance of human connection. In that brief moment, the world feels a little smaller, the burdens a little lighter, and the emotions a little more bearable. Whether he's the giver or the receiver, the hug becomes a powerful testament to the enduring strength of empathy and the transformative power of simply being there for one another. When a man gives you a hug, he's reminding you of the profound power of connection. In a world that often feels fragmented, where relationships are tested by distance, distractions, and the pace of modern life, a hug serves as a grounding force. It's a physical reminder that at our core, human beings are meant to connect, to share, to support, and to be present for one another. This simple act transcends the chaos of daily life and speaks to a fundamental truth. We are not meant to navigate this world alone. Connection is one of the most essential aspects of being human. It goes beyond mere interaction. It's about understanding, empathy, and the bonds that tie us together. A hug, though often brief, embodies all these elements in a tangible way. It's a way of saying, I see you. I'm here for you. You're not alone. In that moment, the barriers that often separate people, be they emotional, physical, or even cultural, dissolve. What remains is a shared space of warmth and mutual recognition. For many, the power of connection is something they don't consciously think about until it's missing. In a world dominated by technology and virtual interactions, the value of genuine human connection is often overshadowed by convenience and efficiency. A hug cuts through all of that. It's real, immediate, and intimate. When a man hugs you, he's reminding you of the irreplaceable value of human touch and the emotional resonance it carries. No text message, email, or video call can replicate the feeling of being held, even for a few seconds. This reminder of connection also brings with it a sense of belonging. Feeling connected to others reinforces the idea that we're part of something larger than ourselves. It's a counterbalance to feelings of isolation, which can creep in even when we're surrounded by people or busy with activities. A hug acts as an anchor, pulling us back to the reality that we're not alone in our experiences. It's a reminder that someone else cares, that we're seen and valued. This is a deeply reassuring message, particularly in times of stress, uncertainty, or loss. A hug also serves as a moment of shared energy. When a man hugs you, he's offering more than just physical closeness. He's sharing his presence and inviting you to do the same. It's a mutual exchange where both individuals step into a shared emotional space. In this way, a hug is a two-way street. It's not just about giving or receiving. It's about meeting each other in a moment of connection that benefits both parties. This shared energy is a subtle but powerful reminder of the emotional currents that flow between people, currents that can heal, uplift, and sustain us. This act of connection is also a reminder of life's simplicity. In a world that often complicates relationships with expectations, misunderstandings, or unspoken rules, a hug strips all of that away. It's a pure and uncomplicated gesture that speaks directly to the heart. It doesn't require explanation or justification. It simply is. By giving you a hug, a man is reminding you that sometimes the most meaningful connections don't need to be analyzed or dissected. They just need to be felt. Moreover, the power of connection extends beyond the immediate moment of the hug. It creates ripples that can influence how we feel and how we interact with others long after the embrace ends. A single hug can brighten someone's day, lift their spirits, or give them the strength to face a challenge. This lasting impact is a testament to the profound nature of human connection and the importance of fostering it in our lives. When a man hugs you, he's also reminding you of the universality of connection. A hug transcends age, gender, culture, and background. It's a universal language that says we're all in this together. Whether it's a hug between friends, family members, romantic partners, or even strangers, the gesture carries the same fundamental message. We are all connected by our shared humanity. This universality makes a hug one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to express care, understanding, and solidarity. In many ways, a hug serves as a reminder that connection is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Humans are social creatures, wired for relationships and interaction. The power of connection is what helps us grow, heal, and thrive. When a man gives you a hug, he's reinforcing this truth, reminding you that no matter how independent or self-sufficient you might be, connection is what sustains us. Ultimately, the reminder of connection that comes through a hug is an invitation. It's an invitation to lean into the relationships that matter, to nurture bonds that uplift, and to recognize the importance of simply being present for one another. In that embrace, he's reminding you that connection is a gift, one that has the power to transform moments, relationships, and even lives. It's a gentle yet profound affirmation that we are all better, stronger, and more whole when we're connected.